if we had done some of the things you just mentioned. National mask mandates, they also cite the insufficient testing response early on and delayed overall response. Some of the reasons that they think these deaths could have been prevented. Like I said, it is a stunning study to read. Do you think that that many lives could have been saved by those simple but fundamental things?
You know, Erin, I don't want to put a number on it because, you know, that's a model study, but I feel quite confident that if we had uniformly done the things that I was talking about just a moment ago, that certainly considerable number of lives could have been saved. You know, remember back when we were having the daily press conferences at the White House, and I was saying when we were talking about opening up the economy and opening up the country again, we had the gateway, the phase 1, the phase 2, the phase 3. And I emphasize that it's not going to be an all or none phenomenon. It's not like turning a light switch on or off. It can't be that you can go from being relatively locked down to just opening up and just not worrying about anything. You've got to do it in a graded fashion. And a graded fashion means you abide by the guidelines, but you do it with some fundamental common denominators. And a graded fashion means you abide by the guidelines, but you do it with some fundamental common denominators. And that's what I refer those 5 things to. They're almost like minimal common denominators that we've got to do. And we've got to do it across the board. We can't be having some not doing it at all and others adhering to it. Otherwise, you know, right, lives likely could have been saved if we had done it that way. Do it across the board. We can't be having some not doing it at all and others adhering to it. Otherwise, you know, right, lives likely could have been saved if we had done it that way. But it's not too late. I mean, that's the point I want to make. I don't like we throw up our hands and say, well, this was terrible. We can turn it around. We can.
So we can by doing those things. We know what you're talking about, though, some of your concern about what we're seeing in Europe and whether that could happen here is obviously inconsistent with what the president is saying. I don't need to tell you that, but he did just speak moments ago at a rally, and here's what he said.
We're going to quickly end this pandemic, this horrible plague that came in from China. You look at what's going on, and we're rounding the turn, we're rounding the corner, we're rounding the corner beautifully. Rounding the corner beautifully.
Dr. Fauci, do you agree?
Well, if you look at the numbers, Erin, it tells us that we really are facing a very challenging situation. And if we don't do something in the sense of paying stricter attention to the kinds of public health mitigation issues that we were talking about, it's not going to spontaneously turn around. So the good news on the horizon is that vaccines look promising. And hopefully by the time we get to the end of November,
$3.7 million invested in it.
We will have shown that we have at least one or two, and maybe more, but at least 2 vaccines that are safe and effective. That's going to be an important issue. But from the public health standpoint, if you look at the numbers of the daily infections, the upticks on the map of more than 30 states that are having it's not going to spontaneously turn around unless we do something about it. We don't want to throw our hands up and give up. That's ridiculous to do that.
So in other words, but it sounds like what you're saying is sort of the power